Nate G219 to help it back and better. Y'all know what it is. Another one coming at y'all. First, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that channel if you want to help out. Today is September 21st, about 7:30 in the morning maybe. Yeah, something like that, 7:30. But, you know, that's irrelevance. That's irrelevance. Today, though, I'm going to be talking to you about a guy that I had met in Porter County Jail. This is almost to the date around the time I had met him. I don't remember if he was there when I got there. I don't think he was. I think he came shortly after I got there, but I mean, the famous Chris Brown. No, it wasn't the real famous Chris Brown, but his name was Chris Brown. Now, it's a very common name. It might be a little crappy to put it out there, but that was this guy's name. So, I had come across many people that didn't have good hygiene in my years incarcerated. Now, when you first get to Porter County Jail, or you first get to county jail, most jails, they strip you to nothing. Now, Porter County gives you nothing but a jumpsuit. They give you two. They're like small hotel bars of soap and this little tube of state toothpaste. Now, in order to keep your breath smelling okay, you'd have to be brushing your teeth 3 or 4 times a day. Sometimes more than that with that stuff. I mean, that stuff was used for everything. Now, everything from glue to they used for pimples, anything. Put some state toothpaste on it. Heartburn, eat some state toothpaste. Now, I'm not kidding you. The answer to cure damn near everything was state toothpaste. So that's another irrelevant part of the story. It's just something I thought about that I thought was funny. But yeah, you're given very, very little. And if you're an indigent person, a person that does not have financial means or financial support coming in from the outside, you're not going to be very pleasant smelling. Now, as a man, the first thing, if you do get money, the first thing you do, you get your hygiene. Number 1. Number 2, you get your clothing. Because when you come into the county jail, you're stripped down to a jumpsuit. One jumpsuit. No drawers, no t-shirt, no socks. Sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, there have been a couple times that they'd issue socks, but no underwear. I would much rather have the underwear than the socks. And then you got your Crocs, your state. It used to be back in the day, Bob Barker brand, everything, sandals. Still mostly everything is Bob Barker, but not everything anymore. Now it's Crocs that come from China or somewhere. They make your feet stink. And now the deodorant they give you, I'm not even kidding you, the second you put it on, it's okay, but 2 seconds after, it'll make you start sweating and it'll make you start stinking. So if you're indigent, in order to remain smelling okay and tolerable, to myself even, because you can't just get hygiene and stuff when you're in holding. And even if you had money, you could have $10,000 that you came into jail with, but you can't spend 10 cents on it while you're in the holding cells or in certain parts of the jail. So you get musky. But during during my stint, my prison stint, my 3-year bit, I started, it'll be on October 23rd of 2012 is when I started that. So going on 12 years, I started my prison bit. But during that prison bit, Chris Brown came in, and he was in the cell, not in my cell, but he was in the cell next to mine. So in county, I want to say there was 18 cells. This was in the felony section, so there was a dorm, and there was two levels. 9 cells on the bottom, 9 cells on the top. Each cell was designed to hold 2 men. Usually had 3, and I'd seen 4 with people on. The 2 people, usually just 1, but sometimes there was 2 on a portable bunk that it was like a piece of plastic. We called them boats. Got stories about those, 2 funny stories. People would ride them down the stairs. I mean, it's usually a trip to the hole, but man, I never did it because that stop was hitting the wall, and I'd seen people get hurt doing it. But anyways, yeah, they'd pack this jail filled with people like this, and there's no real rules set in about you can't stink. All right, now remember I told you they give you 1 jumpsuit a week. Now Chris Brown came in, a couple days go past, and he started to become musky, just like everybody. I gave him a care pack. Now, it wasn't anything special, but I gave him a toothbrush, toothpaste, a real toothpaste, not that state crap, deodorant, and a bar of Dial soap. Here you go. I actually believe I gave, there was a care pack put together where he even had a pair of drawers after a couple days and everything. So you would expect that he would at least wash himself. Now, he spent at least 3 months, 4 months in the jail. I want to say it was closer to 4 months, because not one time did I see this man take a shower. So the first few weeks, man, it got worse. The smell got horrendous. People were threatening him. He didn't give a damn. People were telling him, we're gonna whoop you, yada yada yada. But it really came down to his roommates. I don't remember who his roommates were, but I guarantee there would have been an issue if it would have been in my cell. Everybody in my cell took a shower every day. Now, sometimes somebody might skip one day, depending on just what they had done that day, but usually it was a fairly clean environment in any cell I'd been in. Now, yeah, we have to share each other's gas and everything like that, and that's never a pleasant situation. If you're on lockdown, you gotta use the restroom with 2 other dudes in the same room. I mean, sitting, you can hand them things. I mean, you can play a hand of cards if you wanted while you're using the restroom. It's a very not designed for comfort, not designed for any sort of level of pleasure at all. So Chris Brown in the cell with these 2 other gentlemen, God, I wish I remembered who they were, because I remember thinking, you weak ass dudes, like, make that dude get in the shower. Alright, so after about 3-4 weeks, he became funky. Man, the smell became funky. The 2nd month, like, it was a smell that it smelled like hot garbage juice mixed with sweat, mixed with baby diaper. I mean, and then the third month goes past. One day, it just sealed itself. Like he no longer had any funk whatsoever. Now he did change his jumpsuit weekly, and you would see the guards, the look on their face, like, dang, I feel bad for you guys. But you know, after you give somebody hygiene, I'd seen him wash his hands. I'd seen him wash his face. I'd seen him brush his teeth. Never once, though, did he hit that shower. That man did about 4.5 months, is what I think we come to the conclusion of what it was. Not once did he take a shower. Nobody ever made him in that cell take a shower. People definitely wrote in grievances to the county, to the jail, like, hey, this funky dude won't take a shower, like, this is becoming, and that was, the jail did nothing, the jail said nothing. I said things, you need to take your funky ass to the shower plenty of times. I had said it. People would make comments, but I sure wasn't beating somebody up that wasn't in my cell. That had that been in my cell, there would have been a fight. I don't think there would have. I think there would have just been a shower. And, you know, people try to talk to him, tell him, like, you're funky. I got another one. This is a funny one. So, I can't even... somebody thought I was going to grape them one time. So this was in a different section of the jail. I was in minimum security. I'd only been in minimum security a couple times in my life, and they actually put me in minimum security for a punishment, because usually when I went over there to the felony sections, a lot of my boys were over there, a lot of my brothers were over there, and when I was, you know, getting into BS, there was a lot of gambling over there. I'm not saying there was no gambling in the minimum security section, but I'd seen, you know, $500 bags of food on numerous occasions. I mean, that's a whole lot of money to be winning in poker in county jail. A whole lot of money. But back over here on the minimum section, it was the same, it held the same amount of people, but it was open door. So there was no cell. And so if somebody was funky, you would smell them and a lot more people would get on them. And that's in the case of this kid, Dakota Whitey, we'll call him. I'm not gonna put his last name out there, because Whitey thought he was a big hardcore gangster on I didn't know he thought he was. I didn't know he even tried to portray this on Instagram and to his friends and stuff like that. But I found out when I had gotten home and that he was throwing up all these gang signs. Well, his first time in county jail, right? Give him the rundown. You got to, hygiene is number one. Make sure you get yourself clean and make sure you're not stinky. Number one. And so this dude didn't, I don't remember if he didn't have money yet or what the situation was. But I do remember giving him a bar of soap. Pretty much the same thing I told you I gave Chris Brown. And, you know, I give this kid the same thing. I actually probably gave him a little more, because there was a lot. In the minimum security section, there would be a lot of people coming in and going. And when those people came in and left real quick, I would be the person that they would leave a lot of things to. For one, I ran store in there, so, you know, when they came in and they needed something, they came and saw me, and for a little fee, they would get the food that they needed and the hygiene they needed. And, you know, store day come around, they would have to replace that along with a little bit extra. Not too much. I wasn't a jerk about it. And, you know, everything ran pretty smooth. I only did it just to simply feed myself. It wasn't like I was making money to send home or anything. It wasn't like that. It was simply to feed myself. And a lot of people do it. It's a hustle in prison. It's a good hustle in prison. It's a better hustle in county, as long as you're on the right level and you have enough respect level from everybody else around you that's incarcerated along with you. They got to kind of have respect, fear maybe, and not necessarily fear, it just an understanding that that's got to be paid. And, you know, I honestly only one time did I get burned in that county during that situation and that amount of time. I did a year that time. Only one time did I get burned, and I couldn't even be mad at the dude. It was like $11, and somebody bonded him out of jail. He didn't know he was getting bonded out. He had no clue. Everybody in his family was telling him they didn't have the money, and it wasn't much. He had like a $200 or $300 bond. So it wasn't. So what? You know, that's a risk that, as the storeman, you do take. That's why you charge the interest, and that's 10 up. That's why you do it. You make money, but you do take a risk. And at any time, people can go to a different section, they can check in, get in a fight. So you run a big risk depending on how much money you're loaning out. And depending on how much you start with, you loan out some $20 to somebody. If you only have $25 and they burn you, because they now owe you 30 or 40 depending on how you ran it. I ran it, if it was 20, they would pay me 30, you know. But I'd be burned on that whole 20, and I'd be left with $5 for myself, and I'd be completely screwed. Coming up from $5 is hard. But anyways, I gave this kid a little care pack, dial soap, deodorant. Told him, like, you need to get in the shower, bud. He was a young kid. Now, I'll give him that. He was scared, and I could see that. He was a visibly scared kid. He was 18, I think, just turned 18. And this was in the year 2017, I think. Because that's when I did this stint I'm talking about. From 2017 to 2018. January to January, and been home ever since. So he told him that it was like the 4th or 5th day he had been there, and boy, you gotta get in the shower. Excuse me. And I don't want to get in the shower. I'm like, listen, man, you got to get in the shower. Like, you're starting to stink. And I told him, I said, if you're worried about somebody, nobody's going to do anything to you. I know you see other people playing games and stuff like that. A lot of guys just bored out of their mind. You're in this, I mean, especially in minimum security, a lot of play baby things do go on. A lot of jokes, a lot of pranks. And you're incarcerated with kids, and that was what most of it was. I mean, we would talk crap to each other, play cards, but, you know, we were still in jail, so there were still rules you had to follow, especially the inmate rules, like taking care of your own self, not smelling like a rotten bag of fruit. I was going to say something else, but he did. Little Dakota was this little stinky ass kid. and he wouldn't get in the shower. So I told him that he needed to hit the shower. He's going to have to get the hell out the dorm. This is what it had come down to. So he hit the button. All right, so the button, the emergency button. It's a no-no button. You don't hit that unless there's a real emergency. It's a panic button that automatically turns on this microphone, and he hit that button and he was pulled out into the hallway. And next thing I know, I hear my name called over the intercom and told to come to the front, and I got pulled out into the hallway, and Miss Garwood, a lot of people disliked Miss Garwood. She was just by the books. She had thrown me in the hole 2 or 3 times. I loved the lady. She was a cool lady. She said, "Mr. White, are you threatening to grape this man?" And I was like, what are you talking about? She said, "Well, he's in fear that you're gonna, or somebody's going to violate him." And he was kind of leaning towards you. He didn't directly say you, but I said, "Miss Garwood," she goes, "I know." She goes, "What's going on?" I said, "All I did was tell him that he's got to take a shower." And she started laughing. And I go, "We're having a hard time sitting around him. He stinks. You smell him?" And she agreed with me. Well, as Dakota packed his belongings and ended up in the hole because he hit that button and what was said wasn't true, he was just afraid. He was a scared kid. I just wanted to add that one in there. The kid thought I was gonna take his cheeks. I was blown away. I was so blown away when Miss Garwood took me out into the hall to tell me that one. But yeah, take care of yourself. If you find yourself going to jail and you only have $20, don't buy buying zoom and wham whams unless you get your soap and your toothbrush and toothpaste. At least your soap and deodorant, man. Jeez. Don't be that guy. But never forget life's choices, guys. You don't want to be sitting next to a guy that smells like hot garbage juice for 4.5 months. I promise that. But hey, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that channel if you want to help out. And you know, if they ain't hating it, you ain't making it. Deuce.